Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste and love from India. I once again welcome all the participants from India and around the world to the International Film Festival. I am Sneha, your host for the session. Before we begin with the next screening, I would like to take a moment and express our gratitude to all the filmmakers, the actors, and the members who have brought their words and stories into life. Without keeping you all waiting much more, I would like to introduce our next speaker, Khushi Jhunjhunwala from India. Khushi is an aspiring cinematographer, a skilled photographer, capturing moments and visions with artistry, weaving stories through the lens of creativity. So, Khushi, the stage is all yours.
Thank you so much, Neha. It was a lovely introduction. So the session topic, as Neha has introduced, frame of narrative, creating, crafting stories through lenses. I am Khushi Jhunjhunwala, and let me give you some of my like introduction, like who I am, what I am doing right now. So basically, I have doing photography for past 5 years now, and I have done like I've experimented a lot of genres in photography. You can say portrait photography, street, food, landscape, and in fact light painting too. And I started my journey from when I was in class 10, and when I was doing my photography, then I got started interested visual narrative, uh, which you can call cinematography. So, so that is all about me. So I'll talk about what is the important element for visual narrative. Uh, you might be questioning what is visual narrative. Visual narrative is basically visual storytelling. Uh, it means expressing your ideas through audio visuals. In audio visuals, it includes a lot of things, elements such as sound, performance, art direction, uh, etc. But one of the most key element in visual storytelling is cinematography. And cinematography is basically an art form of you like is it art of visual of how to tell story through cameras and their movement and lighting, colors and etc. But I will focus on two main aspects of it. I'll not stretch it out too much. So the first element is lighting, and the second element is composition. These are the two basic and the main aspect that a one cinematographer should keep in mind before telling story through visuals. Lighting is the most fundamental thing in film because it creates a look and feel of the whole thing that you are telling to the people. So basically, if you think about painting, we use paint to paint. We use paint just like we use paint in the painting. It's same similar goes with the lighting. It's basically a plain canvas. The frame is basically a plain canvas. We as a cinematographer, we with the help of lighting, colors, composition, we paint the whole canvas with the help of different elements. The first element is lighting, and lighting helps to help audience to get into the character's mind and feel the whole narrative of the story. It also reflects the psychological aspect that the character is going through and also supports the genre that you are going to show. For example, if you're showing a TV commercial, so basically they use high key lighting. And for like genres like crime or thriller, they use minimal lighting and more of a low key lighting because as to show the dark and lighter side of the because it reflects the whole genre of the film. So the basic lighting setup that people use are one is key lighting, fill lighting, and backlight. So fill light is basically the main source of light which is coming to the subject. It's the main light, and the fill light is basically the key light is creating a shadow, which the fill light helps to fill in the whole shadow of the subject. And backlight is basically put in the backside of the character so as to distinguish the characters from the background. I'll show some examples. This is the key light. This is the fill light, and this is the backlight. And all these things that I'm showing right now is my experimented. I have actually I have made my own short film when I was in college. So from all that films, in that film, whatever thing that I've used, like any lighting setup, I'm showing you that only. I'm telling from my practical experience. That's it. And other lighting setup, you can call it high key lighting, low key lighting. As I said, high key lighting is basically less less of a shadow and more of a brightness on the subject. These lighting is basically used in TV commercial and television. And low key lighting is a lighting aesthetic which usually used in more of a like showing shadows and basically genres like thriller, crime, etc. And other lighting setups are hard light, soft light, and natural light. Hard light is basically uh, the harder shadows that's created through light, basically from the key light only. And soft light is when the light is created when the shadow is lesser on the subject space or any subject that you are aiming for. And natural, very obvious, the light coming inside the shooting location, you can say the moonlight or the sunlight. Practical light and motivated light. Practical light is basically a light which is coming. For example, I'm sitting here. There's a lamp behind me. That is practical light. It it just creating a cinematic impact on the visual narrative. That's it. And motivated light is cinematographer. Like we can if you're shooting in the like you're shooting in the night, but the moonlight is obviously not the option to go to. So we as a cinematographer, we intimate the the moonlight and create the whole motivated light from it. The second most important part is composition. Composition is basic thing like how you creatively put in every element in a frame is called composition. How beautifully you can put in every element together is called composition. There are obviously elements of composition. Uh, what I'm saying are the basic guidelines that one should follow, but obviously it's a creative field and you can do anything what you feel is good and visually appealing. So I'm just, I'm just telling the guidelines actually that is set by the other cinematographers. That's it. So first of all, the rule of thirds. Basically, an imaginary, we divide our image into 9 parts, and the rule, as the rule says, we have to put our image either on the left side or in the either on the left right side, and the image should be uh, between the intersectional point of the image. As you can see here, this is the intersectional point. I have kept my subject towards left and the other subject towards right. So you can like it's visually appealing. That's it. And obviously it's a creative field. So whatever you want to do, you can do. Then other is balance and symmetry. So basically, and all these pictures and whatever you are seeing are all clicked by me. And balance is basically how you block your character in the frame. Uh, as you can see, I have blocked my character in the center frame to show the feeling of her vulnerability, like all the darkness, like all the bad thoughts is like accumulated on the center, and she's so much vulnerable to all that feeling that she's going through. So the center frame would be the one of the best appealing composition that I've taken here. And this is the symmetry. Symmetry is basically if we fold the picture into two halves, so that is the basic thing called symmetry. Like the other half and the other right half or left half should be equal. And the legend Wes Anderson is very famous for this kind of composition symmetry. Then is leading line. Is basically just a line which leads the image to some point or whatever you want to show the audiences. Here you can see the lines is leading towards the traffic, and here the line is leading towards the subject dog. So it's the basic thing that as a cinematographer, you put in that leading line to lead it's the basic to lead the audience to some point. Then is eye level framing. It's very mm, for straightforward eye level. It's basically the audience eye level. It's just to create an impact that we are in par with the characters feeling that and whatever thing that is going in the frame, and to give a sense of equality between the characters and the audiences, and also to get a similar connection between the what is inside the character mind. Then is depth of field. Depth of field is basically uh, the area which is in focus in the image. uh, Depth is basically the size of the area which is in focus, and field is basically the area of the uh, field which is in focus. Uh, One of the most just a second. Uh, and the depth of field is divided into two parts. One is deep depth of field and one is narrow depth of field. Deep depth of field is basically everything which is in focus. Uh, the area and the depth is broader in a sense. So we can say that broader depth of field or deep depth of field. And in narrow, the area of the field is very narrow and shorter. So that's why the focus area is very smaller. So we can say the narrow depth of field. And interestingly, this is basically for photography, and we can also say for cinematography too. But this is a very interesting thing called rack focus. Uh, it is a change of focus during shots, like from smaller to larger, or focusing from one point to another. So rack focus is very interesting, and you can also experiment to like focusing from one foreground to midground to background. So it's like a very I for me it's a very interesting thing. I can show you one of my like experimenting thing that I've done before. So as you can see, the the focus is coming from the background to midground to foreground. So it gives a sense of, a closeness, a far away from to the closeness. It give a feeling of that. So basically, that focuses to give a little more emotion to the image. Then this is deep space composition is basically everything which is in focus. And one of the best example is from the Citizen Kane. Uh, I will show you the shot. It is the one of the like the best example for deep composition because in the shot everything is in focus. All the four characters are in focus, even if they are in a different depth of field, but still everyone is in focus to give us some sense of personal between them, the closeness between them, and not the give a sense of in distance between them uh, by putting in the depth of field, the narrow depth of field concept. Network issue.
I'll sign those papers now, Mr. Thatcher.
You people seem to forget that I'm the boy's father.
It's going to be done exactly the way I've told Mr. Thatcher.
There ain't nothing wrong with Colorado. I don't see why we can't raise
Every
our own son just because we come
four
into some money.
characters
If I want, I can go
which
to
are in the
court.
frame
The
are all
father has
in
a right
focus.
to. The boarder that beats his bill and leaves worthless stock behind. That property is
That
just
is
as
the
much my
meaning of
property as
deep
anybody's,
composition.
now that it's valuable. And if Fred Gray...
So thank you. That is all from my side.
Thank you so much, Khushi, for this session. I can see that the chat box has been bombarded with a lot of questions while you were presenting. So, Khushi, I would be asking you some questions and you can answer them. Okay, Khushi, Sujit from India wants to ask you, how do you choose your subject or themes for photography projects?
Theme as in I just if I feel like doing portrait photo, while doing photography. So it's not like if I feel like doing portrait photography, I just call someone from my friends group and I keep experimenting with the lights and everything and do the photography thing. If I want to go out, if I'm walking on a street, if I have a camera, if I feel like doing photography in the street, I just do it. So it's not like I keep in mind that I do a theme. I do follow certain themes. If I feel like doing anything, I just do it. So like that.
Khushi, Zach from Australia wants to ask, can you describe your approach to choosing camera angles and movements to convey emotion or narrative in a scene?
Narrative in a scene is basically how you tell a story. So how to tell a story from a technical part, from a technical person like cinematographer, you basically use camera angles and camera movement. For example, height, uh, low angle is basically used to show the superior of the character. So basically, it's telling a story, right? So this is how you change the angle. If you're going for high angle, you are showing that the character is in a depressed position or a suppressed position or slavery, for example. And if you are talking about the eye level angle, basically you are getting a connection with the audiences and the character. So it goes like, and for the camera movement, it's like pan or tilt. To tilt up, tilt down is basically, to reveal the character outfit, you can say, or to or to give an establishment shot and of any location, you can go for tilt up, tilt down because you have to reveal the whole frame, like what are you showing. So it's basically that, and also camera movement comes under like tracking shot, uh, going with the flow of the character. So basically, you are with the character to show that kind of narrative that you are with the character. You show the camera movement or tracking shot. So there are like a lot of other uh, camera movements.
Thank you for the answer. Khushi, Utkarsh wants to ask, could you share a memorable experience or project that challenged your creativity and pushed your cinematography skills to a new height?
Uh, so basically, I started cinematography when I was in college. So in college, there are a lot of challenges. Uh, in terms of like equipment or lighting or the location set and everything. And the actually for the short film, I'll be sharing the link of it, so you can go and see the short film. So in that short film, basically, I have to constrain my whole story inside the campus because I was not allowed to go outside and shoot and everything, like far away from my college. So I have to constrain my whole storyline within the studio, within the college studio, within the hostel itself. So it is kind of a challenge, to compress your ideas into one location and do certain things. So these are little challenges, but obviously there was a studio thing, so I have got a like hands-on creative aspect that I can do anything from lighting. I can do whatever experiment that I want to do. So and also challenges was like getting people on board. That is the most challenging thing I think every filmmaker goes through. Like getting on people board is like a most hectic thing to do. Basically, the casting thing. People just come and go. Like if you have decided the whole script and you have decided the particular cast that you are going to go to, then suddenly, obviously, you have time constraint because you are like I was in college, so I was having some certain of time stay. And suddenly, one of my cast said, "No, I will not come because I have some issue working. I have my other work, and the shoot keeps delay and delay and delay. Obviously, you have books, studios, so there is another challenge कि तुमको स्टूडियोज टाइम पे नहीं मिलता है काम करने की या फिर वो लोकेशन को तुमने बुक किया है तो अगर कास्ट कैंसिल कर दिया तो ऑब्वियसली शूट तो हो नहीं सकता यू हैव टू अगेन गो थ्रू अनदर प्रोसेस ऑफ कास्टिंग then again booking the location and everything that but obviously it's exciting to do so no regrets.
Okay, Khushi, also Gaurav from India wants to ask, क्या आप rule of thirds को हिंदी में एक बार explain कर सकते हैं short में?
रूल ऑफ थर्ड इसका बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये है कि आप अपने इमेज को 9 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड करते हो ठीक है आप इमेजिनरी 4 लाइन आप समझ लीजिए एंड उसके जो पॉइंट पे आपका लाइन इंटरसेक्ट कर रहा है राइट या लेफ्ट में आपको वो सब्जेक्ट को राइट या फिर लेफ्ट में रखना है अकॉर्डिंग टू योर स्टोरी लाइन तो बेसिकली वही है इंटरसेक्शनल पॉइंट में आपको अपने सब्जेक्ट को रखना है दैट्स द बेसिक थिंग ऑफ रूल ऑफ थर्ड.
Thank you, Khushi. I think that would help, Gaurav. Also, Manoj wants to ask, how do you choose a good cinematographer? Because hiring a cinematographer is like the most difficult task.
Choosing a good cinematographer. So basically, it everything depends on your uh, like the story and which cinematographer fulfills your story is based upon that. If someone is doing, for example, like कैसे बताऊं आपका स्टोरी क्राइम या थ्रिलर है ठीक है तो आप वो सिनेमाटोग्राफर को चूज नहीं करोगे ना जो टेलीविजन या फिर कमर्शियल करता हो क्योंकि उसका जॉनरा ऑफ लाइटिंग भी आप देखो ना आप वो हाई की लाइटिंग यूज करें लेकिन आपका जॉनरा क्या डिमांड क्या कर रहा है आपका जॉनरा लो की लाइटिंग तो वो बंदा आपका यू नो ही विल नॉट एबल टू फुलफिल योर आइडिया सो इट्स वही आपको कंपैरिजन करना पड़ेगा यू हैव टू गो थ्रू अ लॉट ऑफ रिसर्च in terms of genre that he or she is working on. So if the things work out कि आपका जो स्टोरी बोल रहा है रिक्वायर कर रहा है आप उसी सिनेमाटोग्राफर को हायर कीजिए.
Monica wanted to ask that what role does storytelling play in our photography? Can you provide an example of a photo that tells a powerful story? Like you have showed a dog and a man in a story, like it shows something, right? Using PPT. So do you have any story about this? Like you have captured a photo and you have showed that this is a very powerful story.
I can show you some example.
Sure.
I have taken a still shot for my short film to make the poster.
Yeah, please show me.
Just don't see the information, but only see the picture, what the picture says.
Yes.
Kintsugi, the concept of kintsugi is basically repairing any pot, any broken pot with the use of gold dust. Japanese people do to repair the broken pot with the use of gold dust. So basically, the whole story revolves around that she is going through depression, anxiety, that she's not able to cope up with her feeling.
Mhm.
So there is a thing called self-consciousness. There is, as we say, we go take a help from other people, go for a third party, take counseling and everything. But something or the other, there is something called self-consciousness. So that helps. That is the goal of her, to repair her from her own feeling of depression and anxiety, and getting a new, like a rebirth from her own, feeling of bad feeling from, like a, you understand, right? Uh, I'm not
Yes.
able to put in words, but
Yes. This is the same link you have sent me on the YouTube. The link you have said that.
yeah,
That's not, yeah, that cinematography was very good actually. The tone was very good actually. I just want to say that.
thank
So
you.
the last question is, Justin has asked that what is the main difference between a cinematographer and a DOP? He said he knows about it, but what is the main difference actually? Because if he'll be making a film in the future, so like if he should hire a DOP only or the cinematographer too. So that's what he wanted to ask.
Actually, there is nothing difference between cinematographer और a DOP. मतलब देखो, फॉरेन में जैसे बोलते कि सिनेमाटोग्राफर वो लोग हायर करते, दे डोंट हायर डीओपी. बट इंडिया में देयर इज अ इंडिफरेंस ऑफ वर्ड्स एंड थिंग्स लाइक दैट, बट दोनों का काम सेम ही है. बोथ वर्क विद द डायरेक्टर, they work on the idea, and they both give the look and feel of the whole film. They only decide what kind of lighting will be going on, what kind of equipment, what kind of cameras they will be hiring, and everything. Both cinematographer, DOP, the meaning is the same.
Yeah, so it's like if we hire a DOP, so he'll be also shooting the film, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
the
good thing.
whole, obviously the whole camera department is the department for the of the DOP and the cinematographer.
Yeah.
दोनों का word same ही है.
Yeah, but वो है कि in India we make a DOP a big thing.
हाँ,
Then
exactly.
he works in
DOP
industry.
मतलब director of photography. He will work.
Yes.
He is the right hand of the director. वैसा कुछ नहीं है. Cinematographer भी वही है, DOP
Hmm.
भी वही है. इंडिया में
Yeah,
थोड़ा
that's a very great
इंडिपेंडेंस है, but
explanation. Yes, that's a very great explanation from the cinematographer. That it's kind of good. So that's the whole questions people have asked from around the countries, and it was a very useful session for me also because I'll be making a film next week. So it gave me a lot of motivation and inspiration because from the camera angles and all.
आप जैसे सोच रहे हो कि cinematography something which is really cool and everything.
Hmm.
मतलब बहुत ही easy go thing है, gold and glitter है, but ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं है. मतलब literally ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. मतलब you have to work like, मतलब director, producers and other actors, they get to sit like, मतलब वो लोग का अगर सीन चल रहा है तो they go, they do their performance and they come, that's it. But cinematographer का वो है नहीं. They work like on and on and on and on, like take, मतलब लाइट सेटअप करने से पहले, फ्रेमिंग से लेके शूट करने से लेके लाइटिंग को रैप अप करने से, सब चीज में वो लोग इन्वॉल्व होते हैं.
Yeah.
So it's like walking on a fire, that's it.
Yeah, in my last film, I had a camera with me, and I thought that I'll be making some shots. तो मैंने एक बार लिया कैमरा and I was like, अपने cinematographer को दे देते हैं, let it be. हम जाए वो ठीक है. नहीं, it's too difficult to make some shots, यार. It's totally difficult because you have to see some shots while you were shooting. You have to see the scene. You have to see the mise-en-scène. Firstly, I
हाँ,
just learned this thing from my faculty.
हाँ, mise-en-scène is basically whatever things that is in the frame, और सब चीज डिसाइड होता है by the director. It's really
So
important to work on mise-en-scène.
yeah, so that's all the questions who people and the participant and the audience have asked from India and outside India. And thank you so much, Khushi, for this very impressive, very tremendous, very useful session you have gave to me and to all the audience. Raj, do you wanted to ask any questions to Khushi?
The total whatever she said was very very impressive, ma'am. Very very useful to me. Even I thought of asking you a lot of questions. The rest of everybody was asking the same question, so I felt like it's better to keep quiet and to listen to you. Very very informative, ma'am. As a director, sometimes we wonder, that part when it comes to camera, we are like we're totally dependent on ma'am, whatever we have in the mind. See, you people bring that out for us right now. So whatever we had in our mind, so people to see, what you guys have, shoot it right. Am I right or wrong, ma'am?
True, true,
So
right.
it totally depend on you, ma'am. So as a director, we have to know all these things. If we know that, it will be better. Someone asked us, how to choose the right photographer or the DOP or cameraman, or it is. So it's really wonderful, ma'am. Really, it's wonderful.
And Khushi, just last question, please. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure, sure.
Yeah. Is it important for a director to have a DOP knowledge or at least some of it?
Actually, it's really important to have some knowledge because you are working with a lot of people, right?
Hmm.
So as a director, you are the god. Basically, director is the god for the film, for that film. So he has to keep up with every aspect, not only cinematography, but every aspect that he wants to, give a shape. Because he also have to have the knowledge of DOP, music, editing, and everything. Because all these elements make a film, right? So you don't have to keep like हाँ मेरे को बस direction के बारे में पता है. No, you have to you have to know about everything because कोई भी question कर देगा कहीं से भी. You are working with hundreds of people right on the set. तो कोई भी question वहाँ कर सकता है कि आप ऐसे क्यों किए. तो director क्या बोलेगा? He doesn't know anything तो क्या बोलेगा? It's like that.
Yeah, we can say that because I have directed around 20 plus films from my college days and now. So it's like you have to have some a little knowledge of cinematography and all the things. Khushi, thank you so much for this session. I cannot thank more because you have done a very great session. The last session was very good actually, I can say.
Thank you so much
And
for giving me this opportunity. So.
and thank you so much for joining as a speaker because your topic was very great actually, the cinematography and photography thing. A lot of people, a lot of people are in this field and wanted to learn something about it. That's why you had this all the questions from around the world. So thank you so much for this. Thank you so much for this session. And namaste.
So
Thank you so much.
namaste from India.
Namaste from India.